Hey everyone, on my ongoing quest to help other Dragon Quest fans finally experience the greatness that is Dragon Quest X, I am going to be doing a couple guides for the game. The first one I wanted to do was the early Zoomstones guide, because in Dragon Quest X, kind of like in Dragon Quest V, the zoom spell has been forgotten long ago, and the only way to kind of zoom between locations is to use these Zoomstones. You get blank Zoomstones for the early game, and you have to set them or write them to certain locations in order to zoom there, and at the start of the game you don't have any. So I wanted to help speed that process up for new players, so I'm making this Zoomstone guide. Alright, so the very first Zoomstone you can get is by completing or progressing your starting village story. The starting village is where each different race starts in. Every race starts in a different continent and a different village. This is obviously after the prologue. None of this applies to the prologue. The prologue is just kind of a straightforward story. You'll get to the end of it. It's not very long. But once you choose your race and you wake up in that race's starting village, you will kind of begin a story there. And once you complete that story or progress that story, you're going to get your first Zoomstone, and you're most likely going to want to set that Zoomstone to the starting village so that you can go back there at any time. I also want to show you how to set that Zoomstone. In Dragon Quest X, you do not need to go to the church in order to save your game. It's an MMO. Everything you do is constantly being saved. But in order to set your Zoomstones, you need to go to the church and select Zoomstone, and then you select which Zoomstone you want to overwrite. If it's a new one, it's going to be blank for the most part. And then you can select what part of the town you want that Zoomstone set to, because some towns have more than one location that you can zoom to. A lot of times I just do the entrance of the town, because as you kind of progress that town story, sometimes you get like a teleportal at the start of the town that can just teleport you to the different places anyways. So as you see, I set the Zoomstone, and now I can zoom to the entrance of that town. A bonus tip that I'd like to include is that you don't really have to waste your Zoomstone to quest locations, because since I think version 7, they added this walkthrough feature. If you see on the main menu, it'll show what your next objectives should be. And if you press your map button while that menu is open, it'll show you where your next objective should be. And you can hit your confirm button and it'll ask you if you just want to go straight there. If it's a place you've been to before, it'll always let you zoom directly there, straight from the main menu, and you don't need to waste a Zoomstone on that, which is super nice. By the way, if you enjoy JRPGs, Dragon Quest, guides, top 10 videos, reviews, all that good stuff, please remember to like, subscribe, turn notifications to all so you don't miss the next video. I am going to be doing a in-depth beginner's guide to Dragon Quest X, just to help new people to the game and help people get into the game. I really want Dragon Quest fans to experience this game because it is a core Dragon Quest game. It is not just a write me off because I'm an MMO game. There's a ton of great story in this game. It's not like Final Fantasy XIV, where it's just a plethora of fetch quests with a little bit of story tossed in here and there. This game is a story-driven game. It's just like Dragon Quest IX, but better, where it's a single-player experience, but you can play co-op with your friends online, and it's an amazing game. Be sure to like, subscribe, hype the video to help others find it. Now let's keep going. Alright, so the next Zoomstone is super easy to get. Once you complete your village's story, you'll get access to the railroad pass, and then you need to go to the first city on your continent. Once you reach your first city, you will get a cutscene from this fairy who tells you that she's going to make important characters' names turn yellow, and when you talk to those characters, you're going to be able to get mini medals, and most importantly, the first character you talk to with the yellow name is going to give you another Zoomstone. So that's already 2 Zoomstones we've got right out of the gate. The next ones take a little bit more work, but still, it's going to be super handy to have all these Zoomstones this early in the game. So let's continue. In order to do this next one, you need to have your first key emblem. So you need at least 1 key emblem. You need to complete the story in your first city on your continent. So not your little village story, the next town you go to, which is kind of the city. You need to complete the main story there, and you'll be gifted with a key emblem. Once you have your first key emblem, you'll want to come to this train station and speak with Adventurer Seminar member Shiko, who's a little she slime with a graduation cap on. Accept their quest, and then talk to them once more, and they'll take you to the lecturer area so that you can take the entrance exam. Once there, you're going to want to talk to this little lecturer slime, and that'll allow you to go through the door so you can take the exam. I'm going to give you all the answers to the exam in this guide. So after talking to him, go to open the door. He'll ask if you want to begin the entrance exam. You just select yes, and then you can go through the door. Now, most of these questions are based on kind of beginner's facts that'll help you out at the beginning of the game. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a full-fledged beginner's guide that'll have kind of all the answers in it that way that'll help you out. But for now, let's just get the answers. So the answer to the first question is the Traveler's Bazaar. Or bazaar is what it's supposed to be, but translation is a bitch sometimes. So you want to go through door number 2. Now, as a free trial player, you won't have access to the Traveler's Bazaar. That is the store that allows you to sell and buy things from other players in the game instead of just like the regular in-game shops. If you need something, there's no trade feature for the free trial either, but if you know somebody who has the full version like myself and you need a specific item, you could just feel free to message us, ask us, and we can still buy that item for you and then just mail it to you. That's kind of the workaround for not being able to trade. Okay, the next question, the answer is the tavern. So you want to go to door number 1. All right, question number 3. You want to go to door number 2. For question number 4, you want to go to number 1. In order to look up how far you've gotten on a quest or where you are in the story, you want to go to the story thus far under records in the main menu. So that's door number 1. All right, for the 5th and final question, you are going to want to go to door number 1 again. Now that you've completed the entrance exam, you can talk to the lecturer to kind of proceed. And they'll take you to speak with the Grandmaster. Next, you want to go and speak to the school president or the Grandmaster. He's going to ask you one last question, and for this question, the answer doesn't matter. Just answer with your heart. That's all that matters, and that's all he wants you to do. And whatever your answer is, you're going to be able to complete the quest. And he's going to give you the seminar cap, some gold bars, which you can sell for some good money, and you are now a member of the Adventurers Seminar. You won't get a Zoomstone from this first pass, but what you need to do, now that you've completed this, talk to the school president again to get back to the train station that you would have just left, and then come back and take the next exam. This second exam is the one that's going to gift you a Zoomstone. So of course, once you're back at the train station, talk to Shiko again, and you're going to want to take the Adventurers Basics exam part 1. This time we're just going to head on straight through the door. The lecturer slime will let us through. Now you can take these lectures as many as you want. You can go through and take them all. You're going to get some decent rewards for all of them, but this guide is just focused on getting the Zoomstone. So you just want to do Basics Adventure Exam 1, and that is the one we're doing right now. So here is the first answer. So the answer to question number 1 is number 2. Go to door number 2. All right, the answer for question number 2 is number 1. Go to door number 1. The answer for question number 3 is number 2. Go to door number 2. The answer to question number 4 is number 1. Go to door number 1. All right, and the answer to the final question, question number 5, is door number 4. Go to door number 4. Now that you've completed the exam, just talk to this slime in the middle of the room. He's going to take you to the Grandmaster, go ahead and talk to him in the center of the room, and he will gift you with the quest reward. And the quest reward for this one is another Zoomstone. So that is 3 Zoomstones we have quite early into the game. Let's get 2 more. Alright, so for the 4th Zoomstone, you need to be at least level 24 in one of your job classes. Then head to the train station and take the train to Port Lendor Station. Once there, head downstairs and take the north exit. Once outside, head to the left, and there's a character with a yellow name we want to talk to named Moderick. Speak to Moderick. He is going to, first of all, give you a mini medal because he's got a yellow name, and second of all, he's going to give you a quest, which will result in you getting a new Zoomstone. In order to complete his quest, we need to take out some knight errants in Glen East. So head back to the train station, or if you have a Zoomstone set to Glen Castletown, take that and zoom on over to Glen Castletown, preferably Glen Castletown East. If not, just take the train. As soon as you get out of the train station, you will be right next to the eastern exit anyways. So head out of town, and we will need to go to where that golden circle is, kind of northeast. I'm going to speed this footage up so you don't have to watch me walk the whole way there. I wasn't going to include this footage at all, but just in case people wanted to see how I got there, I decided to leave it in. I just sped it up like 3 times fast. If you're wondering how I'm able to boost on my doll board, again, that'll be included in my beginner's guide video, so look for that. I'm hoping to have that up next weekend. Once you get past the fencing here, it means you're getting pretty close to the area. You'll see an area that is jam-packed with a bunch of rock bombs. It's right past that rock bomb area where you'll find the knight errant. Dragon Quest X is really good for showing you if you're fighting the correct monster by having that indicator there. And it's also very good for having quest items drop either on the first or second attempt at fighting that monster in those kinds of quests. So this is my first knight errant I fought, and I got the quest item. So now let's head back to Port Lendor North. Again, use your Zoomstone to get to any of the first cities that give you access to a train station, or if you set your Zoomstone to Port Lendor North, even better. Take the train again to Port Lendor Station. Exit the station on the north side and talk to our boy Moderick again to cash in your quest and receive your 4th Zoomstone. Alright, this last Zoomstone that you can get early game is a bit of a doozy. We want to head back to the train station and we want to go to Luckland this time. Alright, once you arrive in Luckland Station is actually located in the building we already want to be in, which is the Mini Metal King's building. So let's head on up these stairs and we can talk to both of these girls, but the girl on the left will give you a free umbrella if you want it, but most importantly, she's gonna give you a mini medal because her name's yellow. Here's the new umbrella, enough goofing around, let's go into the throne room. So right away, we're gonna get a bit of a cutscene with the Mini Metal King, and then we want to go ahead and speak with him to get another free mini medal because, again, he's got a yellow name, but he's a little depressed because one of his butlers, his favorite butlers, has gone missing. So we need to talk to his other butler, Kranich. But before we do, let's talk to Commander Werner A to get another mini medal. But this guy is going to give you mini medals every time you hit a certain threshold of monster defeat. So like if you defeat 100 slimes, he's going to give you a free mini medal. Anyways, it's good to just come back to that guy every now and then. Let's talk to Kranich, get his quest. And once we complete his quest and find the other butler, we're going to be able to cash in mini medals, and that's what we need to get the next Zoomstone. So let's head back downstairs to the station, and we want to go to Orphea, which is on the Puklipo continent. So go to Orphea Station, and exit the station. And once we exit, we will be on the west side of Orphea, which is where we want to be anyways. We want to take that west exit. And the place we want to go from here is Windmill Way. Ignore that yellow circle on the map. We want to go all the way to the southwest to head to Windmill Way. I'm going to speed up the gameplay again, just so you don't have to watch me walk the whole way, but I will slow it down in a key area because this place, the Puklipo country, is very hilly and very tunnely. These guys love to dig tunnels everywhere, and you gotta find the right tunnel to get through to the other side, and this is the wrong tunnel. So don't go down here. If you do, just turn around and go to the next one. You'll find it right here. So we want to go through this tunnel. The reason you need to go through these tunnels in particular is because the railway track kind of cuts this area in half, so the only way you can get over here is by going underneath the railroad. So now we would just want to stick to the trail and head on over to Windmill Way, which again is all the way to the southwest. You can see the windmill off in the distance. Alright, now we're at Windmill Way. And now we want to head to the Windmill Tower, which is off in the distance there. You can see it. But when we get to Windmill Tower, I'm going to show you how to set Zoomstones to places outside of towns. So what you'll see everywhere are these crystals here. If you play Dragon Quest Heroes 2, you'll notice these are the Zoomstones. So you want to just register this location to your Zoomstone. I mean, you don't have to register this one in particular, but I'm just telling you, this is how you would register locations outside of town to your Zoomstone to come back to, okay? So once that's been registered, let's go to Windmill Tower. We got to go through this little bit of a hedge maze. And then we just want to head up these stairs. And you'll notice the little yellow circle up here on the balcony. That is our missing butler. So go ahead and speak to Rennick, the butler, and he's going to tell you that he's kind of just on vacation and that the king had nothing to be worried about because he was just on vacation and he's going to be coming back to the castle. So just go back to the Mini Metal King's castle and speak with Krennic to cash in that quest. And you'll get an Urbea gold coin, which you can sell for a decent amount of gold in the shops here. And then once you've completed that quest, you can now spend your mini medals. There's a ton of things you can spend them on. I highly recommend using them on Yggdrasil leaves. But if you only have 3 right now, make sure to buy the Zoomstone. All the items in blue are items you can only purchase once from that store. If they're a white item, you can buy it as many times as you'd like. So I always save my mini medals to buy Yggdrasil leaves. And then there's a bonus 6th Zoomstone you can get if you just go to the casino, which is left of the Mini Metal King's place. So leave the Mini Metal King's place, head over to the left. It's going to ask you which floor you want to go on. I always just stick to whatever server I'm on. And then there's a ton of people with yellow names here, so you can collect all the mini medals. Talk to this girl here. She is going to show you all the casino rewards. There's some mounts in here. There's a ton of great stuff at the casino, by the way, including the magic carpet mount. But what we want here is going to be the Zoomstone. I'm not going to get it for the purpose of this video because I'm not going to spend the whole time just playing casino games. The casino in this game is absolutely phenomenal, especially if you have a bunch of friends, because you can actually get psyched up while you're at like your slot machine, and it'll psych up everybody in your area and increase their chances of getting like good spins and stuff like that. It doesn't take long to get a whole crap load of coins. So if you want that 6th Zoomstone, that's how you do that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. If you enjoyed it, again, please remember to like, subscribe, turn notifications to all. Next weekend, I'm hoping to have up a definitive beginner's guide to Dragon Dragon Quest X to get you the best start possible in the game. Alright guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.